Hello, and welcome to week 6 of the UNPL Academy. I'm Zand, coach of your San Diego Hydres, and I have a ridiculous mouth sore right now, so I'm definitely going to say a lot of words wrong. I'm going to apologize in advance, but it is absolutely killing me, so it's just going to happen. But regardless, that doesn't really matter. What you're here for is today we are battling Ksavage. I think he's also 5-1 or sorry, 4-1 like us. So we have the differential on him, but that doesn't make him, worse of a battler. That just means he plays to his win cons more safely, probably. And he's got a really solid team. I'll throw it up on the screen right now. We'll go over it super fast, and we'll go straight into the battle. I'm not as concerned about making super quick, like team builders and anymore. Or sorry, I'm not concerned about making super all-encompassing team builders anymore. I'd rather them just be quick so you have an idea of why I'm bringing weird sets, and we can go from there. Looking at his team, he only has 10 Pokemon, but honestly, it is a really solid team of 10. I do think he made a trade, but it's not applicable to this week. He did drop the Primeape. I don't know if that affects whether he brings it to this match or not, but we'll find out. He's got a really solid offensive core with a ton of speed between Chien-Pao, Latios, and Tornadus Therian. All of them, 110 and up. Chien-Pao actually outspeeding our fastest Pokemon at Kilowattrel, so that's, hard for us to deal with. He's got the Iron Treads. He usually likes running Booster on it, at least from what I could tell. And it's a pretty standard mon. I've run it before. Just steel, ground, ice coverage. It gets knockoff, volt switch, rapid spin, stealth rock, and that's about all you ever see on it. But honestly, a really good mon. I could see him bringing it to me. I honestly think those first 4 are pretty much guaranteed. There's a case where Tornadus doesn't show up, but I think he likes it as like an assault vest or heavy duty boots pivot. Primarina has to come here. It is his main way to answer Walking Wake, and honestly, it's a fantastic Walking Wake check. So I think it shows up. I think it's either Assault Vest or Spadef, maybe Calm Mind, but it has to show up in some way, because without it, Walking Wake just steamrolls his team outside of a Scarfed Latios. Iron Thorns is his favorite Terra Captain of his 2. He Terras it pretty early every week. I've seen him lead it several times, and he likes Terra Fairy on it a lot, although he has run Electric as well. So definitely a little worried about that, because if it's not Terra Fairy, then my prep for it is a little bit wasted. But we do have natural answers into Grass and Electric, so Fairy would be the most threatening. He's got the Primeape, Terra, I believe it's Terra Fairy and Steel. So I don't know that he's used it at all, honestly. It's faster than Thorns, but it's weaker and has a lot less utility. And our team is really fast, so I don't know that it matches up really well into us, because usually Primeape takes better advantage of slower teams when it can actually outspeed things with base 95. Brambleghast, I don't think shows up here. It's so weak into Sun. The only thing it can really do against us is wall Kilowattrel, but if we were Weather Ball in the Sun, then we would just blow it back anyway, so I don't anticipate it showing up at all. He's got Dunsparce, not the Dunsparce, but the actual little one that holds Eviolite. He's used it before as well. Pretty much just glares, headbutts, hyper voice. It gets pretty decent coverage, ice and ground and electric and all of that. And then it can run Roost to keep itself alive. Pretty bulky. We're not bringing a whole lot of fight on coverage this week, so it could be annoying to us, but I do think we can manage. And then he's got Swalot. And honestly, against me, I think he brings Swalot. It is deceptively good into a lot of my team, specifically Sinistcha. I tested it, and I don't know if you all know this. This is a kind of a weird interaction, but if you Strength Sap a Liquid Oozemon, you will take damage equal to their attack. So if he is a max attack Swalot, a Strength Sap would do something like 70% to us. Pretty much just insta-kill Sinistcha. So I think it actually matches up really well against us, and I anticipate him to bring it, plus some mixture of those top 6 Pokemon. While he definitely could switch something out for Primeape, maybe Thorns and Primeape are reversible, and maybe he drops something for Dunsparce because it finds it more valuable. But otherwise, I think we kind of have a solid idea of what he's going to bring, and so here's what we're going to bring. And I'm just going to say right now, I'm chancing a lot of this battle on luck. I'm running a lot of inaccurate moves this week because I think they're the most consistent, as ironic as that is, consistent way to set up sweeps and win the game. I could have run something like Will-O-Wisp on Ninetales, but if he brings in, you know, Primarina or Tornadus on it, Will-O-Wisp isn't really doing much for us. So instead we're running Overheat. We've got max special attack Modest, so Overheat can actually start like doing decent damage. Obviously it's not going to hurt Primarina or Latios very much, but we don't really care about hurting them. We've got the Hypnosis. That's one of our inaccurate moves. If we can put something to sleep, we're primed to just Baton Pass and set up and win the game. And if we miss, we lose Ninetales, but if Sun's up, then it did its job anyway, right? We've got Baton Pass, and I do need to be careful not to pass any special attack drops into, you know, one of my special attackers. That would not be great, but I think we can avoid that. And then Healing Wish. The hope with Healing Wish is if we want to set up with our Sunsweeper later in the game that we can actually store the Healing Wish and heal something low if our Sunsweeper doesn't end up cleaning the game completely. That's kind of the hope. With Sun, of course, we have to bring some of our Photosynthesis Mons. We have the Screamtail. Once again, dual screens. We have 2 setup Mons, and we want to take as little damage as possible because his offensive core is pretty scary. So getting a screen up could be really nice for us. He doesn't have great ways to remove them. Encore, just to prevent setup, as we've run pretty much every week on Screamtail. I mean, it's just so consistent. It forces switches, if nothing else. And then Dazzling Gleam, just so we're not completely hard-walled. If we need to pick off a 1 health Chin-Pao, we can. We've got the Defensive Slitherwing. I probably changed the set like 4 or 5 times before landing on this one. It was Helmet at one point. Oh, and then, yeah, the items, obviously Ninetales Heat Rock, Screamtail's Light Clay, so we can get the most turns. Slitherwing is a bulky, mostly defensive check, but we made sure to give it enough attack power to get 1-shots and 2-shots where they matter. First Impression, just super hard counters Latios and Chin-Pao. They can realistically never sweep unless they're Tanga Berry. Especially if Sun's up, we're doing huge damage with First Impression. U-Turn is just really solid pivoting, gets us into our setup sweepers or our screen setter or our sun setter. Close Combat was going to be Wild Charge to hit Tornadus and Primarina, but instead of trying to predict them and go for Wild Charge, Close Combat still chunks them for like 40%, honestly, unless they're really defensive. So I thought, why not just run the move that also punches to Dunsparce and Iron Treads? And then Morning Sun just to keep us healthy, and if Sun's up, we get a full heal, or at least mostly a full heal, so it's pretty good. This is the set I'm most excited for this week. We've got our setup sweeping Levani with Chlorophyll and Wide Lens. It was going to be Yachi Berry for Ice Shard Chin-Pao, but if Reflects up, we should be able to live that regardless. We've got Swords Dance because at +2, we pretty much KO everything outside of Iron Thorns and Dunsparce. Leaf Blade is the best stab we could have. Triple Axle destroys Tornadus as well as Bramblegast and Latios, and Wide Lens makes it so we shouldn't ever miss. Very low chance. And then we've got Low Kick to hit some of his heavier mons like Treads. It also destroys Chin-Pao, even though it's not that heavy. It's 4 times effective. So I'm super excited to use this. I think it has a really good chance to win. The hopeful plan is to get screens up with Screamtail, die with Screamtail, get in Ninetales, pass with Ninetales, and get this in with something like, 5 or 6 turns of Sun and a couple turns of screens to give it just long enough to get a Swords Dance up and start sweeping. And then outside of this general plan, we've got a Scarfed Cinderace. So this is our anti-Scarfed Latios tech, pretty much. We got Pyro Ball just because it's really spammable in the Sun. He only has 1 real fire switch in if he Terras Iron Thorns. Gunk Shot is for Primarina and Fairy Thorns, which are the only things that really want to take a Pyro Ball. Core Change was going to be Sucker Punch as a backup check to Latios, like Scarfed Latios, if we didn't want to U-turn on it. But, it helps with some other things as well. But honestly, I could see him bringing Spike Stack versus me on the Thorns, or even the Bramble, but probably the Thorns. And if he wants to get up 3 layers of spikes, I can just give them back to him. Like, we don't want to pass him our screens, of course, but if we've traded Cinderace for 3 layers of spikes, I think that's pretty well worth it. And then finally, it's the same set every week. Honestly, Sinistra does one thing, and it does it so well, I can't not bring it. We've got the Machagacha Shadow Ball Calm Mind, of course, because why would you not run those 3 moves? They're just so solid, especially with screens up. Calm Mind Sinistra can get really scary for him. And then Stun Spore. So when I was looking at his potential switch-ins to Sinistra, pre-Terra, I think Tornadus is pretty free, and then after we Terra Steel, Iron Treads is pretty free to switch into it. So Stun Spore catching either of those and landing and paralyzing them makes them so much weaker into my team. Suddenly Slitherwing and Ninetales always outspeed, and that's just so important. So yeah, that's the squad. We hope we can make it work. If I miss, this loss is on me, and I totally understand that. But I kind of want to have some fun, play with some different sets. So yeah, let's see what happens. Well, while we're waiting for my opponent, I'll quickly go over... Oh, there he is. I didn't bring Wake, I was just going to say, because his team is just so solid into Wake. Primarina is just such a disgusting check. Did not bring Swalot, which, if we're being honest, that's a huge relief to me. So we can look. I did not bring Wake, for better or worse. I did not bring Dawnfan or Bisharp. I did not bring Kilowattrel, Quillfish, or Knackle Stack, even though a lot of them were on the first or second builds of the team. He did not bring Swalot, Dunsparce, Bramble, or Primeape. He did not bring any of his low tiers, so he is only bringing threats this week. That's kind of scary. Our plan was lead Ace, because it threatens Treads instantly. And if anything, we can U-turn into Sinistra. And honestly, if he's trying to predict my lead, he's probably thinking I lead either Ninetales or Levani, and so Treads is a good lead into either of those. So I think Cinderace is our best bet. This team is pretty goofy, so we're going to see if it works. Looking at the weaknesses on his team, not thinking about Treads' Fairy transformation, he's pretty weak to Rock, and he's pretty weak to Fairy. Not that we really have any coverage of either of those types. Otherwise, its team's really solid defensively. Like, one of the harder teams I've built in terms of what coverage I should bring, for sure. So, it looks like he just locked in. I don't know if that's always accurate, but yeah, good luck, have fun to my opponent. We will get our Calc up. Oop, we will get the right Calc up. And it's Cinderace. Get a notepad up. He leads the Tornadus, which is not threatening to us outside of Scarf. Although we don't have great switch-ins to this guy, to be honest. So if we look at Tornadus Therian, I mean, a Bleak Wind's only doing about half to us, and a Pyro Ball should two-shot him. Our switch into this would be Scream Tail. Interesting first Mon. It makes me think he might be Taunt on the Tornadus. This is our check to this once we can Terrasilize, but until we Terrasilize, we don't have a good defensive check. I kind of just want to go for a Pyro Ball. Is that a bad play? Get some big damage on Torn instantly. That would be kind of huge. Why not? Let's do it. I think it'd be good. We miss immediately, so we miss out on something like 60% damage on the Tornadus, which is not great. And he knocks off our Choice Scarf. So of all the inaccurate moves we're running this week, we missed the 90%, which is not fantastic. So we can assume he's not Scarf. He is Knock. So a Bleak Wind shouldn't KO us from here. I will just go for a U-turn now. We did miss our chance to get some lasting damage on his regen Mon, which is not perfect. Double Knocks. Gets us down to about half. This Cinderace is a lot less useful than it was, unfortunately. U-turn does a decent chunk. Is he Helmet? No, no Helmet. So obviously he could knock whatever we bring in. We don't really want to lose our Light Clay. That's an unfortunate turn one miss, I gotta say. Definitely could go Sinistra and just go for a Stun Spore, because we do have this to help us check Treads. I think I might just do that, because the worst he does to this is knock off our leftovers, which is not the end of the world. So we'll switch into the Sinistra. Would have been Walking Wake, but we did make some last minute changes. We'll go for the Terra. And I will just try to Paralyze. He doesn't have a switch into this outside of Thorns right now, and I don't think he wants to bring in Thorns on Sinistra. So Not the best start, but we run moves lower than 100% accuracy knowing this can happen, and it's going to happen sometimes. And we've honestly been really lucky this season so far with at least landing moves, so can't complain too much. So yeah, we'll see what he wants to do. Torn Lead's interesting. I bet he's wondering what I want to do, because Sinistra shouldn't beat Tornadus on paper, even if we Terrastalize, like... Might U-turn. Might just try to get rid of our item. I'm glad we ended up switching Sinistra to Slitherwing to defensive, because before that we were really shaky into treads once we Terra'd. So he does knock again, which is totally fine. Do we get a little bit of revenge? No, we miss our stun spore too. I mean, I can't say anything. I'm running inaccurate moves. He does U-turn now, which I did expect. So hopefully he brings in Thorns here and we get a pretty big hit off with the Matcha Gotcha. So Tornadus, we're going to assume is Bright Powder until further notice. Dodging everything we try to throw at it, except for a U-turn. So what does he want to go into here? Obviously Chin Pao threatens us, but he doesn't want to bring that in hard on an attack. Not really sure what else he would even want to bring in here. I mean, Treads could come in, but we threaten a burn. Latios could come in, but we threaten a Shadow Ball. Like, he doesn't have great switch-ins to our dual stab, now that I'm looking at it. So we'll see. He does go to Thorns, so 90% chance we do a huge chunk to this guy. This is a joke. This is a prank. This is that small ant challenge where if you use any moves without 100% accuracy, they miss 100% of the time. That's so funny. Iron Thorns would have taken 70 to 80% on that switch in. That's so brutal. I mean, what do I even do now? I can go Sinistra. Oh man, that's so brutal. I'll go for another, but it's going to do half damage and you get to Earthquake me for a big chunk. But man, I just can't say anything. So I know I can't click Hypnosis now because I'm going to miss. He is Fairy, so no surprise there. Almost ran Terra Blast, but it wasn't too worth it. Is Earthquake, as we expected. Does a huge chunk of damage. We do actually land the second one. Go figure. Yeah, it would have been dead. We would have gotten rid of this guy. We do get up to about half. He might try to read the Slitherwing coming in, which would be okay. But another Earthquake from him is just so free, I think. We could also try to go ahead and get Screens up with Screamtail. I don't know. It might be a little early. I think Slitherwing is slightly safer. We should always live a Terra Blast. I think I calced it. We are really bulky. That is so unlucky. Like, one miss in those three moves, totally understandable, but 3 misses is brutal. So Earthquake does 64. We can get an idea of his set off of that. Max roll if he's max attack. Max attack Jolly. So he's probably max attack Adamant. We'll just U-turn. Keep some pivoting momentum going. He probably goes for a Terra Blast here. So he could be risky and go to one of our fire types. But I think the safer play is just to go into Screamtail. But man, that is a wild... Whoa, he is fast. He is really fast on this guy. Okay, we do live, if only barely. Oh man, I am shook from all those misses. I stayed in for no reason. Yeah, I mean, we always live that. I think he's Adamant, which is crazy that he outspeeds Slitherwing, because we do have a little bit of investment. We can Encore the Terra Blast. Overheat might knock him out from Ninetales. Should knock him out. We should always outspeed, I would imagine. Yeah, Jolly max speed can't outrun us. So we go Ninetales, we risk the Overheat missing. But at least we get our Sun up. Man, I did not anticipate him being that fast. Yeah, even if he's AV, Overheat should KO here. And he's shown that he's not bulky, really, at all. Man, that's a horrible start. Oh, okay, no Sun's up. Oh my gosh, I just panicked and thought I was Flash Fire for a second, which would have ruined any chance of Levani sweeping. So not a great start. He does switch the Thorns out. Is it the Primarina? Is the Primarina, which is fine. Do drop a big Overheat to do about 15%. I'm assuming this is AV. Yeah, it has to be AV to have taken so little. So at this rate, are we so unlucky that we just click Hypnosis in front of this, or do we try to go Scream Tail and get screens? Other option being Sinisha. Meh, that's not great. I think we go Scream Tail, try to set screens. I don't want a Baton Pass because it would reduce my attack, and he has no reason to switch here. Worst he does is Flip Turn. So we are sped up, which is cool. So Scarf Lottie actually doesn't outspeed us. Does Flip Turn, which, you know, kind of to be expected. Really his choice of whatever he wants to go into, but we outspeed it unless it's Scarf Chien Pao or Scarf Tornadus. I could definitely just go Torn and threaten a knock again. Not great. Slitherwing, actually, Heavy Duty Boots is so massive on that guy. It does go into the Treads. Is he Booster? He is Booster. So, no big surprise there. Is Speed Booster. Ironhead's doing about half to us, so if we set Reflect, it's doing about a fourth. So we are going to do that. He could set Rocks, but they don't KO Scream Tail since we're Boots. Or, sorry, Slitherwing since we're Boots. So we at least have that. So First Impression's +2 priority, so we will always outrun Chien Pao's Ice Shard with that. Torn, we now know is U-Turn. We know that Treads is Booster. We set a Reflect. What does he go for? Goes for Heavy Slam. That's going to hurt a lot. Okay, does a little less than half. So Heavy Slam. We know that Primarina is Flip Turn and it's probably AV. Know that Thorns is Fairy, Terra Blast, EQ. And we haven't seen Lottie or the Chien Pao yet. I know he likes keeping Chien Pao in the back. Could Encore the Heavy Slam. I don't know if that's helping us much. We've got Face in the way. 4 turns of Sun left. I think I can switch into... Yeah, let's just do it. Let's just switch into Cinderace at this point. We can double out on the EQ into Slitherwing or something else. Does Heavy Slam again. Still does 56 damage, which is considerable. We are not Scarfed anymore, I just realized. So this was not a great switch on my part. So he does just threaten us with an EQ. I could go back into the Scream Tail and Encore EQ, and that could give me a chance to set up with Levani, but I would need Sun up again. So this is just not great. Nothing about this is great. Obviously, Slither is no longer a safe switch into this. And Cinderace really isn't doing much for us. So I think I can just let him KO us with an EQ and get a safe switch into something else. So he could have been without a tread or without a thorns, which would have been amazing. Obviously we can bring Lavani in and hit him with a low kick, but we're gonna run out of sun turns real fast. Could bring out Ninetales and hit him with an overheat. Behind Reflect, Earthquake is doing like 70-odd% to us, 60-odd%. So I think that's a fine play. We don't have a defensive switch into this anymore. We don't have a defensive check, so I have to go something that offensively threatens. I could anticipate him to switch out, but honestly, it's not worth it. I know we need this for Sun, and a crit just ruins our whole strategy, but I have no better way to get rid of treads at this point, unfortunately. Since I did let Slitherwing get hurt so stupidly. I should have just pit hard switched it. He does switch, so Primarina's gonna come back in. We do see the Primarina. Do get another overheat. Did more crit maybe? No crit, high roll. So it's doing 20%, and this is our last turn of Sun. So Assault Vest Primarina with Hydro. It's only doing about half, so I'm not super concerned. We could go for the Hypnosis here, because he could just flip turn again, which is not great. I mean, at this point, we've got to make some big plays. We miss, but Hypnosis is going to miss a lot of the time, so that's okay. Does just go for another flip turn. We will lose our Sun here, and we will have to sack something. So this battle has absolutely not gone to plan. The Hypnosis miss is whatever. We didn't have a better play, but to stay in, really. We've made Shreds waste its booster, so it no longer outruns a lot of our Mons, but we're kind of sitting and hoping that Lavani carries us to victory, which never feels great in a league that's not low tier. Man, that was a horrible first 4 turns. I'm just going to say it. Like, we would have had permanent damage on Tornadus, and we would have had a dead Thorns, or at least permanent damage on Thorns. So that's really tough. Thorns comes back in just in time for Sun to fade. Screamtail could come in. How many turns of Reflect do we have left? 3 turns of Reflect left. Definitely don't want to stay in. So Screamtail definitely comfortably takes a hit here. And we could get our light screen up. We could encore him. And we kind of just let Screamtail go at this point, I believe. I think that's the only way we're really dealing with the treads, or the thorns. He has 2 Iron Mons, and it's constantly mixing me up. But obviously, Sinistra and Slitherwing both lose to it, so I think this is the only play we can make, unfortunately. So I assume he goes for a Quake here, if not a Rock-type move. He doubles into Primarina. It's just fine with me. There's no longer Sun up, but this really doesn't threaten me much. We have 2 turns of Reflect left. I will get a light screen here, because obviously Dazzling Gleam is going to do like 5%. So, Thorns is not AV. It might be a Resist Berry, but I'm not positive. Giving up Cinderace was not great, but without its Scarf, it's just so much less valuable for our team. Do get Light Screen up. He might flip turn again. Does flip turn again. This is fine, honestly. He can bring in whatever he wants. Maybe Chin Pao, exert a lot of offensive pressure, not let us get our Reflect up. Does bring Treads back in. I believe we should always outspeed this still. Let me check. Iron Treads. Not that it really matters if we outspeed it. Another heavy slam might KO us. I'm okay with getting, you know, 12% on it, eating a heavy slam, setting reflect, and letting Screamtail go down though. I think this is the plan in action, for better or worse. Heavy slams, 14%. We get a fresh reflect up. So Screamtail will drop to the treads. And we actually do have Healing Wish that we can set. Does spin to gain speed. I don't think a +1 treads ever outruns our Levani set though. No, we always outspeed treads with Levani. So we will go Ninetales here. We do always eat an Earthquake with Reflect up. We might scare this out. I don't care. I'm gonna go for a Healing Wish. And we're gonna have that set up for the end game. So we can go into Levani, it won't waste the Healing Wish because we're going into a full health Mon. And then in the end game, we can bring in either Sinistra or Slitherwing and get them back to full. So he does hard switch. We could have baton passed. I don't know that it was worth it. Primarina comes in, and that's actually kind of best case scenario because it is not threatening Levani at all. So we give up our full health Ninetales. Probably not preferred. We could have just baton passed, I suppose. Wait, why didn't I baton pass? That was a stupid play. But honestly, if one of his faster Mons is in, I think it's better because we can't risk not getting that Healing Wish up. I'm just going to go Levani. We're going to full send and hope for the best. At this rate, this is all we've got, you know? I will go for a Swords Dance. I don't think this does anything to us, even with like an Ice Beam. We set up a Swords Dance. I mean, Moonblast is doing a quarter of our health. Flip turns. What are you going into? Flip turn did absolutely nothing. I guess it breaks our Sash. If we had one, which we don't. Almost ran Yachi Berry, but I just absolutely do not trust Triple Axle. So if we lose, I definitely think the misses are a part of it, but I also think not baton passing when Ninetales there would add to that loss. Tornadus comes in, which is honestly exactly what I want to see. Triple Axle should pretty much always KO. If he's max health... Oh no, I'm +2. Triple Axle destroys this guy. So we will go for it. Now this is... I will lose my mind if this misses because we're wide lens. This is a 99% chance 3 times. There's 1, 2, and 3. Nice. Okay, we don't get 6-0'd. Big victory. Man. So we got to show off a really cool tech. Levani actually got some sick moves. I don't know if it was this generation or before. I know that Gen 5 and 6 its moveset sucked, but now it has low kick, triple axle knockoff, some other really fun stuff. So yeah. It's going off. I don't know what his Chin Pal set is, but low kick should always destroy that. I would have liked to have gotten a hazard up in case he has a sash hiding somewhere, but with how much he's thinking about this, I don't know that he does. Goes into the Chin Pal. Low kick does 322% of this. And if he's... I mean, I always outrun Scarf unless it's Jolly Scarf. If he's Adamant Scarf, I should always outrun it. So we will go for the low kick. He protects. Okay, he's stalling my son. So I definitely should have saved Ninetales in the back. So now he knows we have low kick. And that makes me think he switches something in that can take a low kick. which would be Primarina. Honestly, pretty much anything except Treads could switch in here. We have 4 turns of Sun left. So I think I'm going to go for Leaf Blade here. It always KOs No Bolt Chin-Pao, and should catch Primarina switching in. A Ghost Thorns. I think Leaf Blade still KOs this. Yep, nice. Okay, Levanny gets another KO. So that's pretty huge. Primarina being asleep would be nice here, but it is what it is. Light Screen wears off, which is acceptable. I mean, we can't really do anything about it. Not that any of his... Latios comes in. I don't think Scarf Latios outspeeds me. I can check real quick, but I'm pretty sure I EV'd to always outrun it in Sun. Yeah, we always outrun this, so we'll just triple Axel. If he wants to double and be fancy, he can. You're joking. You're so joking. Are you kidding? That's 99% accurate. I want to cry right now, dude. That was a KO on Latios. Man. I can't be mad, but I'm kind of mad because missing all those other moves is what it is. But if we KO Latios there, we have 2 turns in the Sun. He protects Chien-Pao, then has to sack another Pokemon. So he has Latios, Chien-Pao, and he has... what else does he even have in the back? I'm so frazzled. That's crazy to me. I missed a 99% accurate move. He has Treads, Primarina. So Slitherwing never beats Primarina. I guess we go this. Obviously we're not wanting to take an Earthquake from Treads. We will get the Healing Wish. That blows my mind. Levanny was about to get like 4 KOs. Air Slash also, that's a crazy tech. I don't know if that was for Levanny plus Sinistra. So if we're tear it up, Lottie's not hurting us unless it's Aura Sphere. Iron Treads. Earthquake's doing like 60%, 60 to 70. I will Calm Mind. It's our only way to win is to get set up on this. Does Hard Switch. Primarina comes in. That's not a threat to me at all. If anything, that's more free setup. So we got our stats risen. Our Reflect wears off finally. Makes me think he might want to Flip Turn. If he is the AV set, we don't knock it out here at +1. I wonder if he's just trying to get damage. I really wish we would have Ninetales in the back now, because having multiple sacks to get more first impressions off would be so nice. If we're at +1/+1 into Iron Treads. Physical attacker. We want to get one more Calm Mind up for it. Does Flip Turn. So you could either go Chien-Pao or Treads here. He is faster than us also, so that's a fairly speedy Primarina because we have 20 speed on this. So to spot all that's happened, we're not in the worst position in the world. As crazy as that is to say. Because if that Iron Treads is doing 60 to 70, and we're at +2/+2, we're hitting it for 85 to 101, so that Dazzling Gleam damage might have actually mattered. That might mean we get a KO, heal back 40%. So we take 65, we heal back 40, we're sitting at like 85, and so I doubt Chen Pao revenges us. Latios is the switch of choice. Little curious about this, what this wants to do to me, because at +2, Aura Sphere is only doing about half. Obviously, Matcha Gotcha is not really doing anything to him, so I do have to Shadow Ball. He definitely could Aura Sphere, and Aura Sphere and Earthquake will take us out. Would be interesting. I guess he could be Scarfed with Aura Sphere and Air Slash. I'm so disappointed. If I hadn't missed with Levani, Sinistra kind of beats his last 3 because we're so defensive. If he didn't bring fighting coverage on his Chen Pao, he's not breaking us before we can heal back. It's the game, but damn, dude. Missing all those moves in a row is insane. We just can't catch a break. But, you know, it's fine. If this is an Aura Sphere, he doesn't do more than like 30% to us, and I should have went for Matcha Gotcha. But, flip turn. Alright, well, something's eating a Shadow Ball here. So he's just trying to pivot around my Sinistra as much as he can. Maybe Chen Pao comes in, but he had a free switch into that already. Primarina comes back. I'm sure you take this. Oh my gosh. That is such a bulky Primarina. I could Calm Mind again, but I do want to get a little health back because he is slowly but surely chipping me down. Does Surf. This should do next to nothing unless it crits. It doesn't crit. Wow, that's just big damage. Matcha Gotcha will kill and heal us most of what he did, I would hope. This is to 239. So if we look at Iron Shreds, physical attacker, Earthquake would need a high roll to kill us. It's only high roll kills off of Jolly max attack. Goes back into Lottie though. Interestingly enough. Also, he's Protect Chen Pao, so Slitherwing is never going to beat that. So I'm just going to go for another Matcha Gotcha. I'm going to go for heals. He drops a Draco, but I think we can actually 1v1 this. And he can't freely go into one of his other mons. So I will Matcha Gotcha. At the end of this, I'm hoping we can get back up to full or near full. I think this was not the play because we have 2 Calm Mind boost. So we do Matcha. Heal up quite a bit. If he brings something else in, like we killed Chen Pao and should kill Treads on switch in. And that would get us back to full. This is doing less and less to us as Matcha Gotcha's healing us. I could Calm Mind once more to guarantee the KO on Treads. Because that's a little sketchy. It's being weird about the Chen Pao. I don't know what that set is, or if it has anything to hit us. It shouldn't be mono ice, but he's playing it very strangely. Which he may have some big master plan in the end, you know. That's his main way of stopping Slitherwing. So he's really thinking about this move, but I just want health. And after I heal back up, so he does hard switch. So I either KO Chen Pao here, or I get a huge hit on Tread. So I will KO Chen Pao, assuming we can land a 90% accurate move. I shouldn't have said anything. I'm gonna run Giga Drain for the rest of the season, I swear, dude. I will Matcha Gotcha. We should heal like 40%. He's Sacred Sword. Doesn't KO. We do actually land. And we KO the Chen Pao, and we should heal a decent amount, but we're not enough to live a Tread ZQ, unfortunately. So, had ample opportunity to win there if we had just landed that Matcha Gotcha when he came in. We would have won, really. It goes back into Lottie, though. Do you not have an Earthquaking Treads? Did I see the wrong mon on the team? Treads is still alive. What is happening? I mean, I need health, right? Luster Purges to try to lower my Spadef. Does 50 damage. Matcha Gotcha Does another 33 odd percent. Gets me up to 200. Still not enough. This Matcha Gotcha should heal me all the way back. Luster Purge will knock me down. This is going to be close. Down to 152. So F drop doesn't matter at this point. Unless we missed. But we did not miss. I'm not going to speak it into existence anymore. We do land. We do KO. How much health do we get? We get back to 199. That's not enough to live an EQ from an Iron Treads. No. If he's max attack Iron Treads, Earthquake never KOs. And we know he's Earthquake, right? We've seen Earthquake. I'm not crazy. Like, Matcha and Shadow Ball both KO here, so I might as well go for Shadow Ball, because first impression would pick him off if it doesn't, but yeah, he has EQ. And it KOs us. I don't know why this didn't happen 3 Pokemon ago, but I mean, who knows? We still lose 0-1. And any of those misses in the beginning didn't matter. So the Pyro Ball missing was unfortunate, but we KO'd the Tornadus from full anyway. The Matcha Gotcha missing the Treads was unfortunate, but we would have 2-shot it anyway. It would have just burned an extra turn of Sun. What really mattered was the Matcha Gotcha miss on the Chen Pao and the Triple Axle miss on the Latios. Like, both of those were so crucial to us losing this game. I'm gonna CC, but just wow. Like, honestly, we go down to 4-2. We only lose 1 differential. But in my opinion, we did not deserve to lose that based on those 2 misses. And so hopefully we can meet again in playoffs and redeem ourselves a little bit. I'm trying not to be salty. I'm a little salty over those last 2 misses. Every other miss I can forgive. I'm over it, you know. But 99% triple axle and the only Matcha Gotcha that we really needed to hit missing, it just hurts really bad. So yeah, if you enjoyed, this was a wild rout of a game. We did end up losing, and we're gonna try to, you know, keep the momentum up. We could definitely still go negative because there's 9 weeks. We could go 4-5. I'm hoping we don't, but at this rate, you know, we're just gonna miss. So I'll see you next week.